NAMM 2025 is right around the corner.
Let's look deep into the crystal ball.
NAMM 2025 is coming back to the Anaheim Convention Center next month. January 23rd is the start of the show. We get there a little early. Excited for this year's trip.
It's going to be another fun year. It's always a fun time going to NAMM. It's a good refresher because we're up in Canada too. It's very cold here in the winter, so it's nice to see some palm trees in January.
It is nice, but we got to get there first, and that's the first hurdle of a successful NAMM trip is actually getting there. So the Flying Air Canada is probably not the best choice.
There's a lot of delays. Our last trip, Dave got pretty well held up at customs and everything but cavity checks. So we're hoping that we can get there a little smoother this time.
The issue was a 20-year-old work permit from touring in the States, but they just wanted to make sure I wasn't going down to play. It's very flattering, think that I'm doing that still, but was not. But sometimes you lose your luggage. Sometimes you stay up for 24 hours to get there, but we got there eventually. We've got there every year. We're going to get there this year as well. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real grind trying to get there on time. That's why we go a little bit early. We want to make sure that we're there and kind of prepared, the little bit of jet lag, getting back into the groove and getting ready for the full-on assault that comes soon after.
It's a full-on assault. And there's also like pre-NAMM events. So it started like, NAMM starts Thursday, but there's something Wednesday, and now there's things Tuesday. I've even heard of some stuff happening on Monday. So, I mean, we're going to go down on the Tuesday. We're going to be there until Sunday. So we're going to catch as much as we possibly can. But we're veterans now. Sean, is this your fifth NAMM show?
Maybe sixth, yeah.
Sixth one? Yeah, this is my 35th NAMM show. I've been going since I was 12 years old. So this, we've learned some things the hard way along the way. And we're going to give you some tips, some tricks, some do's and don'ts.
So what is NAMM?
NAMM stands for National Association of Music Merchants. So it's everything to do with the musical instruments and equipment industry. So everything from guitars and amps, saxophones, violins, metronomes, DJ equipment, fog machines, drums. It's everything, all encompassing is there. And you will see and hear and smell it all. Everyone's living the dream at NAMM. That's what it's really about. It's about living the dream. We're living the dream every time we go there. And, it's really interesting to get together. The big thing is getting together with all your friends from around the industry, other stores, manufacturers, reps, all the people just some people that you just hang out with at the NAMM show every year and you never see otherwise. It's great to get together for that. It's kind of a reinvigorating thing for the whole industry. I think everyone feels that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think now we've got a pretty dialed in plan when we get there. It's important to have a plan because if you're going in blind, it's a lot to take in a short period of time. And there are a lot of rules to follow to make sure you make it to the last day.
Yeah. We've learned these things by not making it to the last day. I've become as sick as I've ever been probably at multiple NAMM shows. So I like to think those days are behind us now, but fingers crossed. So some of the rules. First off, it's a 30,000 step a day kind of thing, right?
Yeah, you got to make sure you have good shoes. That's a mandatory because you're going to be covering a lot of ground, going between appointments, back up to your hotel room to get some water.
You got to stay hydrated.
The bottled water is $17 a bottle, so you want to make sure you're hydrated before you go there and during too.
Yeah.
But so that's an important element is making sure you stay hydrated and have a good pair of shoes.
Yes, yeah. You might be fighting against yourself from the night before for part of the day. So you really want to give yourself the best chance possible.
Absolutely. Another big rule we've learned along the way is don't touch anything. It's like being in a candy store, right? You want to go up, you want to look at the candies, you want to touch them.
Right, but it's more like being in a bathroom that hasn't been cleaned. It's like, that's really like that guitar is more like an uncleaned urinal or something. You don't want to touch that.
Yeah, it's like a Vegas hotel room off the strip. You got to be really careful with what you're touching.
I'd say so. So I instituted a policy for myself a number of years ago after contracting the NAMM illness, which is referred to globally, universally as NAMthrax. That's what you call it when you get the sickness at NAMM. So my routine is hand sanitizer before every interaction at any booth, before I go in and when I go out. And also, don't touch anything. No guitars, no keyboards. Swear to God, one of the sickest I ever got in my life was trying a Dave Smith synth at NAMM in like 2016. Never again.
And you know, it's tempting to hold on to the escalator rails. I mean, that's really tempting. They're big escalators, and some mornings you kind of need them. And so it's tempting to hold on to, but you have to tell yourself the risk is not worth the reward.
It's not worth it. You might save yourself from falling down, but you're going to be falling down later.
That's right. That can always happen later. The other thing, you know, it's good to not take too much stuff because, again, it's like back to the candy store. You see all these cool things, the flyers, the buttons, the stickers, but that stuff gets pretty heavy when you're on the floor all
It'll
day.
weigh you down.
And if you just take everything that you're given, by the end of the show, you're at Air Canada at the airport, and they're telling you got to check your carry-on bag.
Yeah, it won't fit anymore because you got it. You've got all the stickers and the free T-shirts and stuff. So just don't. That's another policy. So like hand sanitizer, number one. Number two, don't take anything.
Don't take anything.
Just say no. You see these guys, they're weighed down by the bags. They're carrying a bag. Usually it'll have like it's like a Hal Leonard or because they're giving away bags. There's companies that give away bags. Carrying the bag. The bag's full. It's jam-packed. There's T-shirts. There's a drumstick sticking out. There's stickers. It's full, and you can tell like it's pulling their shoulder down, but they're still trying to play the synthesizer with one hand, and they got the bag, and the sweat is pouring down. It's tough. It's tough gig.
Yeah, I mean,
that guy.
Don't be that guy if you don't have a good chiropractor.
Yeah.
If you don't have coverage for massage therapy, don't be that guy.
Don't do it.
And you also don't want to be the guy who's on the plane ride back with 3 blankets around him, turning blue, getting half a can of Mott's Clamato juice. Don't be that guy.
Yes, yeah. Clamato, that's a Canadian thing, so it has to
is.
be Air Canada to get. And that's like clam and tomato juice for our American friends that don't know what that is.
You're wondering how much longer your knees can be against your chest.
Yeah.
Before you have to tell everyone to move so you can stand up and walk down the aisle.
And throw up. Two of the first events that we always have at NAMM are the Taylor Catch event, which is where they show a bunch of custom guitars. It's a really nice hotel that they have that at. It's like rooftop bar, great whiskey sour.
Yeah.
The great event. That's during the day, Wednesday. And then there's a Fender custom shop event on Wednesday night. I know this year, I think it's a little smaller. It's just for showcase dealers. So we'll be there, and opportunity to pick some really cool guitars. They always have some cool stuff that's built specifically for the show. You enter like a raffle, they pick your name, then you have the opportunity to purchase the guitar. So we'll be at that on the Wednesday night.
Yeah, there's lots of events that are going on outside of NAMM. I think they were a little bit more strict about that years past, but they've loosened up their stance on events outside of the convention center. So I know there's a pedal thing this year. Carlos Lopez is going to be there.
I think it's guitars, pedals, and amps too. Yeah. A bunch of boutique builders, like how Carlos is there and Curtis Novak, and that's going to be a cool event. Wood, wires, and bolts, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's going to be a bunch of other events. You know, they're always hosting shows. A lot of the manufacturers are doing shows. Often you get brands are kind of collaborating, putting on live shows and events.
Yeah, and there is people playing every night as well. Some of them better than others. Some of them, it's actually playing constantly. Sometimes you're trying to eat lunch and there's like a piezo pickup that's tearing your ears apart. But sometimes it's good too. So there's a lot to see.
There's a lot going on in those stages, and yeah, the quality of the acts vary, but overall, very interesting.
We're really there for business because this is what we do for a living, right? So we're there to kind of see all of our suppliers in one shot rather than traveling out like 10 times a year, kind of like we did this last year. We did a lot of traveling, but this is great to see everyone at once, and a lot of people you just will only see this time of year. but there's always some surprises. That's a really cool thing about it. Like one of the great things we saw last year was the tax system's humidification system. That's just like basically this great in-store humidifier, one small unit that does the whole store. That was kind of one of the most exciting things. You know, you've been looking at guitars for too long when you're just excited about a humidifier, but that's the truth.
That really changed the game for us here, though. I mean, it's nice to have a system that maintains the humidity in the store, really with very little work, very little effort on our part.
Yeah.
All right, NAMM 2025 predictions. What do we have for you?
Well, it's got to be the arrival of the AI prompt artist.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I am looking forward to hopefully the return of the prominence of Hall E. Hall E is like the basement. It's the basement.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of manufacturers, kind of these fly-by-night operations, often copying like some of the bigger brands. They remind you of a kiosk in a strip mall. You know, they're not really real. So I hope we see a return to Holly and its prominence.
Of those people. I mean, there's some legit stuff in Holly. It's all like a lot of like really cool, like boutique stuff was always there and good stuff. But then there's like, yeah, like the exact copies of like Taylor guitars or the exact copy of something else. And to really kind of open your jacket and sell you something out of the jacket kind of situation.
So probably the same product, new name. Same product, new name.
Yeah, the other company got run out of business, or like the feds caught up with them or something, and now they're back with a new name.
I think we're also going to see a lot of the big brands leaning into what's worked. You know, there's been a bit of turmoil in the music industry for the last couple of years. I mean, ever since the huge spike with COVID. So I think we're going to see a lot of the manufacturers returning to what worked and kind of expanding on those platforms.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. A lot of these guys are, at least in the US, they're selling direct to consumers, which they might be sick of that by this point. Maybe they want to get out of it. I'm not sure. That's not really a factor for us here in Canada.
No. I think you'll probably see more direct to consumer marketing. I mean, there's a lot of consumers that attend this event too. So, and obviously there's tons of coverage of this event. So it's a good opportunity for some of the manufacturers to try to direct their marketing to the consumer. And I think we're going to see a lot of the bigger brands. I mean, this isn't as much of a prediction as it's a fact that we know. The big brands are going to be coming in a smaller capacity. Fender, Gibson, some of the guys that didn't attend.
I don't know if Gibson's going to be there. We don't know. We're going to find out. Bold prediction. Gibson shows up.
Smaller capacity, Gibson. Yes. That's my prediction. We'll see them in a smaller capacity, I would guess.
There was one year, this is the smallest capacity I've seen them. The Custom Shop had a booth. Were you there that year? The booth was like in the cafeteria, but you had to go like behind a vending machine and up some like back stairs. And then there was like a little Gibson Custom Shop booth, which was really cool. The Custom Shop had its own thing, but it was like top secret. Like, again, I think you had to like walk actually behind a vending machine and up a hidden staircase to find it.
I think you're going to see more modeling tools too. I think you're going to see more modeling amps, more solid state modeling amps. The technology is advancing so quickly now that you'll see a lot more digital stuff, modeling amps, things that sound more organic than they have in the past.
Will Neural show up with a product and with a booth, or show up at all?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. They had something last year.
Wasn't it a question mark?
Yeah.
I think it was something like that. It was like a question mark. That's cool. It's good. People like that.
So hopefully this year they bring a product to market. That would be cool.
What do you see for new guitars, new offering from companies? Like, we don't even know. So let's just speculate. If we were going to guess on some of these companies, what would they come up with next?
I've been right about a few of these in the past.
You have.
I'm going to make a bold prediction that PRS does something with the Silver Sky platform. They expand on that platform. I think there's a lot of ground to still cover with that, and that's been a pretty successful guitar for them. So
yeah. Is it like an offset? Would PRS do an offset in the Silver Sky platform?
That's interesting.
Yeah, you could kind of see that.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. The real exciting thing leading up to the shows, we just don't know what the big takeaway is going to be this year. There's always something. There's always a big takeaway that changes kind of what our plan is for the next year.
Yeah, last year we really realized the importance of going to the show and really fostering all those relationships, seeing all of our friends within the industry, meeting with a lot of the manufacturers, and going to a lot of cool events off site. And it really kind of recharges your batteries to keep doing this every year.
For sure. If you see us at the show, stop and say hi. Thanks for watching the video. Like this video and subscribe to our channel.